Professor Flint, the abuse of the Constitution, closed borders, the things I was talking to Catherine McGregor about. I mean, everywhere you turn, liberties are being taken away. The Constitution's just being ripped up.
It is indeed, and so is the law. Most of the actions that they're taking, they come to a consensus in this bizarre thing called the National Cabinet, which is really the old Premier's Conference, where they meet together informally. It has no authority in itself. Most of the decisions are then enforced by the ministers going back. And the ministers themselves are making subordinate legislation. It's not even subordinate legislation under an Act of Parliament, which then goes to the Executive Council and the Governor has a chance of seeing it. It's done by the minister themselves. Many of them have gone far beyond. They're disproportionate. And I think the case that we ought to all remember is the one relating to the cattle ban. Remember the cattle ban, which the Gillard government applied? They banned all cattle exported to Indonesia, whether or not they were going to a good abattoir or not. That was found to be disproportionate because it exceeded the power which was given in the statute. I have no doubt that there will be a mass of actions in relation to misfeasance in public office by various ministers in Australia. Unfortunately, it'll take years. Unfortunately, it'll be the taxpayers who pay. We should have an offence, a criminal offence of serious misfeasance in public office, and ministers should pay for such things that they do. They should not abuse their powers, as they obviously are in many of the states. And they're doing this so capriciously, telling us how many people can be in a church and how many people can be in a mosque on a special occasion. They're double standards. We saw that in relation to the first BLM processions. Remember, they all said, oh, we've got to allow a right of protest. And the avalanche of objections by people who'd been only allowed to have 5 people at a funeral of their relative were absolutely astounded that a communist-led procession should be treated separately and differently.
Absolutely.